Okay, to start with our topic today, let's look at a number line. If you notice a number line, it has two sets of numbers. These numbers are called integers. They are also called whole numbers. The numbers on the right are called positive numbers. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it goes on and on. Those are positive numbers. The numbers on the left, they are called negative numbers. All right, negative numbers, and I start with 0. Well, 0 is not positive nor negative, and they divide. It separates the positive numbers and the negative numbers. So the numbers on the left are called negative numbers, and the numbers on the right are positive numbers. A number line can also be drawn this way, vertically, okay? And the numbers going up above the 0 are called positive numbers, and the numbers below the 0 are called negative numbers. So bear that in mind. A number line on the right, it's positive numbers. On the left, negative numbers. And if it's vertically, up and down, up to down, down, up, the numbers above the 0 are positive. The numbers below the 0 are negative. Now, to start with our topic today, which is coordinate plane, let me start by showing you some of the parts of a coordinate plane. First of all, if you notice, we have this here is called a coordinate plane. You are going to see two lines. One line going across or horizontal. This is a horizontal line, and this horizontal line from right to left or left to right is called the x-axis. Okay, so this line here, which is horizontal, is called the x-axis. And the other line that is going from up, down, or down, up, which is a vertical line, is called the y-axis. Okay, so a coordinate plane has two axes. The line across, or the horizontal line, is called the x-axis. The vertical line is called the y-axis. So bear that in mind. This is the horizontal line, x-axis, vertical line, the y-axis, x, y. Now, let's look at another part. If you notice, if you look at this here, what do you notice? You notice that there are two number lines, all right? Two number lines. We have the horizontal line, which we call it the x-axis. Very good, the x-axis. The vertical line, we call it the y-axis. Okay, so we have the x-axis and the y-axis. Now, let's look at the numbers that are on the x-axis. This here, right in the middle, what number you think is there? Yes, it's a 0. This here has a name, but we will come to the name in a little while. Let's look at the numbers here. All right, the numbers on the x-axis, on the right you have the positive numbers, and on the left we have the negative numbers. The same thing with the vertical line, which is the y-axis. Above the 0, they're called the positive numbers. Below the 0, they are negative numbers. All right, so the x-axis on the right of the 0 are the positive numbers. on the left of the 0 are negative numbers. The y-axis, which is the vertical line, you have the y-axis, it have the numbers above the 0 that are positive and the numbers below the 0 that are negative. Now let's look at another important feature about a coordinate plane. This here is called a coordinate plane. The numbers on a coordinate plane are called coordinates, all right? These numbers here, the positive numbers, the negative numbers, they're called coordinates, okay? Now let's look at the quadrants. A coordinate plane has 4 quadrants. Each section, all right, the 2 axes, when they are formed, the 2 axes, they intersect at the 0 here, and they form 4 quadrants. This here is quadrant 1, and it's made up of positive numbers. Here are the positive x, here are the positive y, all right? Then we have quadrant 2. Okay, in this one, the x is negative and the y is positive. The x are the negative numbers and the y are the positive numbers. Then we go to the third quadrant, quadrant 3. On this quadrant, it's made up of negative number. The x is negative, the y is negative. On this quadrant, which is quadrant 4, it's made up of the x, which is positive, and the y, which is negative. Okay, so we have quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. We have the horizontal line, which is the x-axis, and the vertical line, which is the y-axis. Okay, on this side, on the left, we have the negative numbers for the x-axis. Going down below the 0, we have the negative numbers for the y-axis. On the right, we have the positive numbers for the x-axis. And above the 0, we have the positive numbers for the y-axis. All right, so if you notice as well, the numbers that we use here, they are Roman numerals. 1, 2, 3, 4. We use Roman numerals to label the quadrants. All right, quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. We go anti-clockwise or counterclockwise. Now let's look at this. I already gave you the name of each part of a coordinate plane. We have the x-axis, the y-axis, we have the coordinates. I told you that the numbers, they're coordinates. These are the positive coordinates, negative coordinates. Positive coordinates going up, negative coordinates going down. We have the name of the quadrants, quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. Quadrant 1 is made up of positive coordinates. Quadrant 2, the x is negative, the y is positive. Quadrant 3 is made up of the negative coordinates. And the quadrant 4 is made up of the x is positive, the y is negative. Now we move on to how to plot or how to write the coordinates when they are given